Have you ever felt completely lost, as if the weight of the world was pressing down on your shoulders and there was no way out? Maybe you sat alone in a quiet room, your heart heavy, asking, why me? Why now? What am I supposed to do? Sometimes, life's challenges leave us feeling weak, defeated, and powerless. But what if the answer to finding strength is hiding where we least expect it? Let me share with you a story, an ancient parable that has traveled through time and reminds us of the quiet power within ourselves. In a small, forgotten village nestled between towering mountains and whispering forests, lived an old monk named Tao. Tao was known not for loud sermons or grand acts, but for his calm presence and a smile that seemed to hold the peace of 1,000 years. People came from far and wide, seeking his wisdom when they felt lost or broken. One chilly autumn evening, a young man named Ren hurried into Tao's little temple. His eyes were wild with fear and frustration, his steps heavy like a man burdened by invisible chains. Master Tao, Ren said, bowing deeply, I'm overwhelmed. Every day I face failures, doubts, and fears. I feel so weak inside. How can I find strength to keep going? The old monk smiled gently, his eyes twinkling under bushy white eyebrows. Come, he said, beckoning Ren to sit by the fire. Let me tell you a story. Ren settled down, warming his hands as the flames flickered. Once, Tao began, there was a mighty river cutting through the heart of the forest. Its waters were strong and swift, carrying life to everything around it. Along this river lived a small, humble fish named Li. Now, Li was not the biggest fish, nor the fastest. Many other fish teased him for being so small and slow. One day, a terrible storm came. The skies darkened and the river swelled with furious power. Trees were uprooted, and the wild waters swept through the forest like a roar of thunder. Many fish were caught in the chaos, their strength useless against the raging floods. Li was pushed against rocks, pulled this way and that, his tiny body battered by the relentless force. I am weak, Li thought desperately. I cannot survive this storm. But then, Li remembered something his father once told him. Strength is not just about fighting the current. Sometimes it's about knowing when to bend. So, instead of struggling upstream against the storm, Li let himself flow with the river's energy. He moved with the waves, tucked into a small cave under the roots of a fallen tree, holding on with all his might. Hours passed, the storm raged, but Li stayed safe. When the waters calmed, Li emerged to see the damage, broken branches, mud-streaked stones, and many fish washed away. But he was alive, and stronger. Ren listened intently, the flames reflecting in his eyes. Tao continued, the river is like life, Ren. Sometimes, we try to fight the storms with force and stubbornness, only to be overwhelmed. But true strength often lies in surrender, in finding the quiet courage to flow with life's currents rather than against them. Ren furrowed his brow. But isn't surrender giving up? Doesn't it mean being weak? The monk shook his head gently. No, surrender is not defeat. Notice how Li survived not by fighting the storm, but by respecting its power and adapting. This kind of surrender requires great inner strength. It teaches us patience, resilience, and humility. A silence settled. Then Ren asked, how do I find that strength? How do I know when to fight or when to let go? Tao gazed into the fire. Listen to yourself. Your heart knows the answer if you quiet the noise of fear and doubt. Strength is not one thing. It is many things, sometimes standing tall, sometimes bending low, always moving forward. As the night deepened, Ren felt the heavy weight inside him lighten. The rush of fear that had filled his chest softened into something like hope. Before he left, he asked, Master Tao, will I ever stop feeling weak? The old monk smiled. You will find that weakness is not the opposite of strength, it is part of it. Like the river, life carries both calm and storm. You are strong because you survive and keep moving. Remember Li, the little fish who faced the storm. Your strength is already within you, waiting to flow. Ren bowed deeply. a tear rolling down his cheek. It was a tear of release, the breaking of a burden he had carried alone for too long. Friends, the lesson here is clear. Life's storms will come, and sometimes you will feel weak. But weakness is not your enemy. It is a signal, a moment to pause, to listen, and to find your true strength in the quiet places. You do not have to fight every wave. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is let yourself be carried forward, trusting that you will reach calmer waters. So, next time you feel overwhelmed, remember the little fish Li, the mighty river, and the wise old monk Tao. Embrace your moments of weakness as part of your journey. Your strength lies in your resilience, your courage to bend, and your heart willing to flow. You will never feel weak again, because you will understand that your power comes not from never falling, but from rising in new and wiser ways every time. Thank you for listening. May you find your river to flow with and the courage to bend with grace.